What's up, everybody? Commander, Bookseller-in-Chief Peter Valley here to bring you the 2020 Amazon Bookselling State of the Union Address. Yes, I have seized executive powers for the purpose of bringing you the truth that no one else will in this very strange time that we're in. So I'm going to talk about the good things and the bad things, and by the end of this video, I believe you will. And by the end of this video, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to come away much more fortified and prepared for what's to come, and empowered and emboldened in a very positive way, or you're going to go the heck with this book selling business and you're going to run for it. Okay, one of those two things is going to happen, but I think it's going to be the former. And listen, here I'm here to talk about. I'm not here just to give you a cheerleading pep talk here. I'm going to talk about the bad things. In fact, I'm going to start with those, and then we're going to get into the good things, and this will all become clear in a second because there's some good aspects to being in this business right now, and also some very, very bad ones. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover: why Amazon bookselling is a bad business to be in now, why Amazon bookselling is a good business to be in now. There's actually more good than bad. What the coronavirus means for booksellers in the near and the long term, why Amazon sellers are actually positioned perfectly for this new world, and I'm going to get into some statistics and stuff I've never heard anyone else talk about before. A key reason, this is my favorite part of this video, a key reason that book sales are about to go way, way up for the next 2 to 4 years. And I'm just going to leave it at that. You'll see what I'm getting to here in a second. And lots more. Okay, so who am I? Let's get this out of the way. My name is Peter Valley. I've been selling on Amazon for almost 20 years now. Wait, is that... almost 15. Sorry. Wow. 13 years to be exact. I'm the most published author on Amazon selling in world history. I'm also a dictator because I've seized control of the book selling world for the next few minutes to bring you this video as the fake commander-in-chief. But go ahead and play along. This will be a good video. I pioneered the concept of online book arbitrage in 2015. As a fun fact, the very first time I ever attempted to source books to resell was at a thrift store, particularly in their dumpster. I crawled in a dumpster to retrieve thousands of books they had thrown away. The thrift store employees caught me, slammed the lid shut, padlocked it, and called the police. And I emerged 45 minutes later to several police staring me down. That is a true story. I did not get arrested. Okay, a couple things before we get into the good and the bad parts of Amazon bookselling in 2020 in the State of the Union bookselling address. Number one, a note on resilience. I've got to get this out of the way, you guys. Any business needs to be able to weather some temporary turbulence. We can all agree that what we are in right now is temporary, okay? And I'm speaking specifically for those of you who are watching this in the future and don't know what I'm talking about. I'm recording this from the peak of the coronavirus pandemic, okay? Now here's the thing, if you cannot weather a little bit of turbulence, you're not in the correct mindset to run a business. And actually, you're not in a business at all. Like if you can't weather a few weeks, and I feel really bad for some of the brick and mortar businesses and so on. But those of us who are selling online, our overhead is not nearly what it is for a brick and mortar business, okay? We are in a very privileged position. If we cannot weather a little bit of storm, we really should get out of business altogether. And if that's you can shut off this video and I don't know, go choose a different pursuit. But if you cannot handle uncertainty, honestly, if you can't handle any uncertainty, the best options for you really are a 9-to-5 job, or at least that was the case until this month when the job market went crazy, or just go rob a bank. Like, I don't know anything else that is going to guarantee that, like, okay, in the end of this fixed amount of time, you will have this exact amount of money. And even bank robbery, you never really know what you're going to get, right? So everything when it comes to money is inconsistent, and you've got to be willing to live with that. Otherwise, you should not be in business at all. Sidebar number 2, before we get into it, you guys, this coronavirus thing is temporary. It's very easy to forget that. It's very easy to forget when you're in the middle of something. This is all going to be behind us probably very soon. I don't claim to position myself as an expert on virology, okay? But here's the deal. Viruses come and go, right? This has happened for, as far as I know, since the beginning of time. They come and they go. And the worst hit countries are past the worst of it. And they're now putting this behind them, right? As of the time I'm recording this, literally today, I woke up to the news that China is no longer on lockdown. Okay, so this is rapidly being put behind us, and the countries that have been worst hit have already peaked. Okay, so it's easy to forget that, but there is going to be an after to this. This will be behind us. Okay, now what you came for, the book selling State of the Union address, part 1. why bookselling is actually a very bad business to be in right now. Let's get this out of the way. Bad thing number one, probably all your sources are closed. Chances are that all of your sources right now are closed. You've got nowhere to source right now. Unless you're sourcing online, you've got nowhere to source right now because everything's closed. Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because if booksellers, if we can't buy in brick and mortar, then book buyers can't either, and they have to buy from us. So I'll get more into that in the what's great about this business section here coming up in a minute. But unless you're doing the online book arbitrage model, which again is sourcing online, which is, by the way, if you're not familiar with that model, this would be a fantastic time to get acquainted with it. I actually have a free book on the subject. If you click probably below this video or next to it, you'll see a link to my free book called Online Book Arbitrage. But if you're doing the online book arbitrage model, you're covered right now, right? Because the internet never closes. As a matter of fact, prices are so low right now, it's actually a fantastic time to start sourcing online. But if you're not doing that, you're likely finding that you have nowhere to source right now. Bad thing number two, the Amazon shipment freeze. Now again, I'm guessing in the lifespan of this video, 99% of you are going to watch this after the freeze has been lifted. So for those of you who are watching this as of this, within a very narrow window of time after I record this, this is still in effect, okay? So since it doesn't affect most of us in the future, I'm just going to go ahead and blaze past this. But Amazon basically said, hey, we're freezing incoming shipments of books and other categories until April 5th. And then a couple days before April 5th, they said, actually, we need to push that date back a little bit more. So now we're not sure when they're going to lift that freeze. So as of the moment I'm recording this, Amazon is not accepting shipments of books. But here's the deal. Amazon, if you're concerned, I've seen a lot of sellers that I've interacted with jump shit over this, which is crazy to me because the freeze, as of right now, it's been less than 3 weeks. And it's like, really? Like 3 weeks, you're going to jump shit? But anyway, Amazon, here's the thing that I tell people. Amazon wants this to be over very, very quickly. Most of the time when you're frustrated with Amazon, it's because they have a different agenda than we do, and our agendas are in conflict. This is a rare instance, like how many have you guys have dealt with like the high pricing alerts and all that weird stuff Amazon does? It's really frustrating, right? This is a rare instance where our needs are in perfect harmony. Amazon wants this to be behind them as much as we do. Believe me, because listen, Amazon is losing a ton of money right now not being able to accept and thusly ship out our products, right? Amazon, a huge percentage of their revenue, huge, like close to half, is from third-party sellers. So this is no small thing for them either. So listen, it's not fun, but again, I want to say just for the second time, if your business or your side hustle or whatever you call it can't weather a little turbulence, you're really not in business at all. So a few week sort of freeze on being able to ship and actually source for that matter shouldn't be deal breaking for anyone. I don't want to downplay the lost revenue here. Like this, it's going to be a struggle for a lot of us. But listen, like you've got to be fortified, right? Like things will happen. So let's just keep that in mind. So another sidebar here, really quick. There's this. You guys, these YouTubers and bloggers drive me insane sometimes. There is so much clickbait, like videos and blogs right now saying Amazon has shut down Prime at the end of FBA, and it's like it's total shameless clickbait. By the way, if you ever see anyone post anything like that, just unsubscribe, unfollow them, get off their email list, because it drives me insane, right? So a lot of people right now really believe these people that this is the end of FBA. Here's the deal, you guys. It's not the end of anything. Amazon got overwhelmed because when brick and mortar shut down, they got a surge of business, right? People could only order online, and so everybody rushed online. Amazon couldn't meet; they didn't have the manpower to keep up with demand, and so they had to kind of pump the brakes a little bit and say, hey, we can only ship out this, that, and the other thing. We can't ship out this other stuff, and they went and hired 100,000 new people. Anyway. That's all the backstory here, but the FBA is not over, you guys. Amazon would be over if FBA was over. The core of Amazon's selling proposition is that, hey, we offer second-day shipping for Prime subscribers. You think they're going to walk away from that? That's insane. So don't worry about that. Okay, bad thing number 3, and this is actually more of a question than a bad thing. It's actually kind of a neutral thing because it's undetermined. Are sales down right now? Well, here's the deal. To get this out of the way, March and April are historically slow months. March is actually the slowest month, and April is not exactly the best month either. So that's when I'm recording this video, right? So as of this moment, it's normal for sales to be down a little bit, okay? Now here's what I think. In my private Facebook group, there's an arbitrage group, I posted, I was like, hey, are you guys seeing your sales up or down right now? About 60% said they're seeing their sales actually go up in the last month. So now you're like, okay, why isn't this in the bad section? Well, I didn't want to be irresponsible because the answer is unknown. I don't want to be irresponsible and put it in the good section because honestly, a lot of people are saying their sales are down too. It's like a 40-60 roughly based on what I'm seeing in the Facebook group. So we don't really know if sales are up or down right now. A lot of people are saying their sales are flat. So, it's really hard to read, but there's two sides of this, right? It could be like, well, everyone's buying online now, so sales must be up. But then it's like, well, it's a time of economic uncertainty, so books aren't exactly as important as food or electricity. So maybe people are kind of backing off of discretionary expenses. The fact is, we don't really know, and I'm seeing very mixed signs. And actually, slightly the majority of people are actually seeing their sales are going up. But I just want to be responsible here and just say we don't know how this is affecting sales at all. One of the things that people are asking a lot about is because classes are moving online, and a huge percentage of our business comes from college students, not just with textbooks, but all books. Is that going to affect anything? And my answer is no. The curriculum has not changed. People are moving online. Classes are moving online, but it doesn't affect the curriculum, right? They're still like reading books. They still have. So as far as I know, that's not affecting anything in terms of actual a business from actual college students. Okay, so now that was the bad stuff, you guys. And that wasn't that bad, right? It was like one neutral thing, a couple bad things that are temporary. None of this is that bad, right? So now we're getting to the good stuff. This is the fun part, you guys. Why bookselling is a good business to be in part 2 of the 2020 State of the Union Bookselling Address. Good thing number 1, all offline book buying options are closed. This is the very big, obvious one. People have no choice but to buy their books on the internet right now. You're in the online business when no one can go outside. How awesome is it to be positioned in that way at this particular time in history, right? Now, listen, I know what you're thinking. I don't want to celebrate what brick and mortar businesses are suffering right now. I find it to be very sad, honestly. There's a bookstore 2 blocks from my house. They were doing like curbside pickup, and I bought a bunch of books from them. I just want to support them, right? So I don't want to celebrate that at all, right? But there is a side effect that is beneficial to us, which is that if you're going to be selling books at all, online is it right now. That is it. Now, here's the deal, you guys. Every business is compromised right now, right? So are book sales up? Like I've been going back and forth on this. Are they up? Well, we don't know. But the point is, all business is suffering. Unless you're a grocery store, all business is suffering right now. So the question is not, hey, what business can I be in that's booming right now? Because you're probably not going to start the next Kroger or Safeway or Albertsons, right? So that's not the right question to ask. The right question to ask is, which businesses are best buffered against the impacts of this economic turmoil that we're in? And bookselling absolutely fits squarely in that category. So you guys are positioned very, very well. Good thing number 2, I love this, you guys. It's kind of cruel, I guess, in a way, but not really. Feeble sellers. Fickle sellers. Is that the right word? Sellers who are the weak, we will call them. The weak sellers are self-purging right now. These are the people who are not committed. These are people who are not really in a real business. When there's any amount of disturbance in the Amazon force, they run for it. And I've seen this over and over and over again. I've been selling on Amazon for 13 years. This happens every time there's a fee increase or what. People just run for it, right? And that's kind of how Amazon sellers are. I've learned that over the years is they are a very, very sensitive bunch. When I say they, I mean we. A very sensitive bunch, right? And any sort of disturbance, people immediately just close up shop and move on to the next thing, right? Which is great because it means less competition for us. And I'm not really sympathetic, honestly. I said it's kind of cruel, but it's really not, because I'm not sympathetic to people who, oh my gosh, Amazon stopped accepting shipments for a couple weeks, I'm going to shut down. You shouldn't even be in business, right? You never were running a real business to begin with. So between the shipping freeze and sales possibly being down, at least in some categories, and general economic uncertainty, I expect, and it's hard to measure, but I expect a similar self-purge of Amazon sellers is underway right now. And we saw this with when Amazon raised their fees dramatically, it was like 3.5 years ago or so. Sales plummeted, sellers dropped dramatically. I tried to do an unscientific study, and I found the sellers were dropping in just within a couple of weeks after the fees went up. I think it was like almost 15%, and that was just in the very short time after. So I imagine the real numbers were higher than that. And this is kind of one of the side effects of Amazon being an easy business to get into. You guys, this is, I mean, if you've never tried to open a real business, like a actual physical bookstore or something like that, like a brick and mortar store or what, I mean, that's a lot of work. You have to buy cash registers. I mean, it's a serious amount of work. We are in a business that is so easy to start. But one of the side effects of this is that when a business is easy to get into, it's easy for people to get out of too, like psychologically speaking. It attracts a lot of people that aren't fully committed because it's such an easy business to get into. So it's kind of like low friction in, low friction out. People are like, oh, I'll try out this thing because it's easy. And then they leave just as quickly as well, right? So this brief turbulence, I love that word. I keep using that. This brief turbulence will filter out the weak, to put it very bluntly in Darwinian terms, and create a lower competition environment for the rest of us, which is fantastic news. Again, less competition, higher prices. It's just like works out well for all of us. You're gonna see less people out at your sources. It's awesome. I love it. Okay, so, and by the way, I'm gonna get on that. A lot of you right now are thinking, well, wait a minute. In times of economic uncertainty, aren't people gonna rush towards like any way they can to make money? And I'm gonna talk about that in a second here. At the very end, I'm going to talk about why that's not the case, and I'm going to use historical examples for why people don't flee towards starting a business in times of in the wake of economic uncertainty or recessions or whatever. So anyway, good thing number 3 in the State of the Union Bookselling address: FBA prices went way down, and then they went way back up. Now, this is by far the most subjective, anecdotal, possibly reckless and irresponsible slide in this entire presentation. Here's why. I have nothing to back this up. Okay, I'm going to spend 10 seconds on it because it's really stupid for me to bring this up. But here's what I've noticed, right? 3 weeks ago, everyone was freaking out when this is 3 weeks ago as of the time I'm recording this, when the coronavirus thing really, like, the impact was really being felt. People were freaking out. People were losing their jobs, freaking out, and they were trying to get cash any way they could. And one of the things me and a lot of my students noticed is that FBA sellers were FBA prices were dropping. People were trying to get cash, so they're just dropping their prices dramatically, trying to get quick sales. Okay, that's what I saw. So you saw prices plummet a few weeks ago. And then over the last week, again, this is like, you guys, this could not be less scientific here, but it seemed like, and I'm hearing this from other people too, the lowball inventory kind of sold out, and then prices actually rebounded and are actually higher than normal right now. Now, here's the deal. How many books have I actually looked at in the last week? Probably a couple hundred, right? This is not very scientific, but it does. I am noticing the prices are unusually high right now, okay? If you have a different observation, whatever, comment below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Good thing number 4, books are insulated against obsolescence. Yes, I know it's a big word. And what that means is books are insulated against ever not being around. That's the really dumb way to put it. Okay, let's just go back to obsolescence. Now, here's the deal. There are very few, I said this earlier, you're not, the wrong question to ask is, what business is booming right now, right? That's the wrong question. The right, because there's very few safe businesses as of this moment. By the way, the reason I'm kind of stumbling in my words here, I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing a parking attendant giving me a ticket right now. I'm going to power through this video because I am more committed to you guys than a $30 ticket. Anyway, so there are very few safe businesses. Everything is down right now, right? This is a time of severe economic contraction. Now, the last business you want to be in is one that capitalizes on trends. Books are the opposite of that. Books are the least sexy business in the world, right? They are the most humble business in the world. This is not some flashy, like, new drop shipping gimmick or something. This is like, it's pretty much as timeless as it gets, right? The last business you want to be in is a trendy one. So this is a very, very bad time to be in some trendy, shiny object style business like CBD oil, or I'm sure you guys have seen like same Facebook ads I do, like house hacking, all this stuff, right? These are bad businesses to be in because they're trendy, right? The only businesses that are truly safe right now are those that are nearly timeless, and books absolutely fit that category. Okay, so right now, when we're in a period of economic uncertainty, if you're gonna be in a business right now, it should be a business that is either totally innovative or totally timeless. Nothing in between makes sense right now. So I want you to picture, to kind of drive this point home, picture a house 100 years ago in 1920, okay? There's only a handful of things in your home right now that someone from 1920 would recognize, okay? we'd probably recognize things in their houses because we kind of have a point of reference. But if someone in 1920 looking at our house, they wouldn't recognize our, most of our appliances. They wouldn't recognize our computer. They wouldn't recognize our Alexa. They wouldn't recognize, even our shower might look weird to them, right? But books are one of the few common denominators between a home 100 years ago and today, right? There's like furniture and books and like utensils. Like I can't even think of anything else, right? There's very few things that have that kind of endurance that books do. Books aren't going anywhere. And by the way, please, please, please do not say, what about ebooks? People have been beating that drum since I got started selling on Amazon. And guess what? Ebook sales have gone down every single year for like the last 6 or 7 years. That's over with. That's done. No, nobody wants to deal with ebooks anymore. It's not that they're going away, but them taking over like hard copy books, that is a threat that is passed like years ago. Okay, everyone always says that. I get emails like that every day. It's ignorant of the facts. Okay, good thing number 5. This is my favorite part of this entire video, and this is what I'm most excited to talk about. I've never heard anyone else talking about this, and this is big, you guys. This is what guarantees our sort of the stability of our business in the years to come, not just months, but years. Okay, college enrollment is about to explode. Now, I'm going to tell you why I know this to be a fact here in just a second, but I want you, before we move on, before you're thinking, okay, well, I don't really sell a lot of textbooks, or what does that mean for me? Well, let me explain this to you. I've been saying this for many, many years, that if, as booksellers, a hugely, perhaps over 50% of our business, hugely disproportionate percentage of our business comes from college students. And I do not mean textbooks. College students buy books, period, in large volumes. Now, look, again, a large percentage of college syllabuses aren't even actual, what you think of like a doorstopper style textbook, okay? Tons and tons and tons of books on college syllabuses are not even what you think of as a textbook. But even beyond that, college students are basically the last point in most people's lives when they actually read, which I think is really tragic. The average post-college adult doesn't read at all. And actually, I think the actual statistic is like they read an average of 1 book a year, but that's just through polls. So I'm guessing people are like, oh, I read a book a year. They really don't read anything. It's tragic, and I think it's sad, and I read a lot, but that's true. Most people don't read books, period. So what this means is when college enrollment goes up, our sales go up too, across the board, not just with textbooks, across the board. Again, if you've ever been through a textbook season in August or January, you'll know you'll notice your sales go way up, right? Like they should like double or triple in those months. Look at the books that sell during textbook season. How many of them are actual, like what you think of as a textbook? And then look at you can go back in your history and look at how many books you would think, I wouldn't think a college students would like that. Now, it doesn't mean that only college students are buying books in January or August, but what it does mean is that probably, over the majority, for sure, 2/3, possibly more of your book sales during that period are students. But guess what? It's not 2/3 of your books that are selling that are textbooks. It's like every category of book, except for like probably Danielle Steele novels, goes up. Sales go up. Booksellers do not give enough credit to the impact that college students, and I shouldn't say students, academia. So it's like adjunct professors and teachers, assistants, all of academia, the impact they have on our business. They do not get the credit because it's hard to measure, but I've seen it and I know it to be true. So here's a statistic for you. So with that out of the way, now that you understand that when college enrollment goes up, our sales go up, and they are the core of our business. I'm going to give you a statistic that's going to blow your mind. It blew my mind when I read it. The recession, now again, this was back in the 2008 era recession, saw a 33% increase in college enrollment from 2006 to 2011. This is massive, you guys. Now, here's the deal. I don't think we're officially sort of diagnosed as being in a recession yet, but I think a lot of people think it's going that way. And I think everyone can agree this right now is a period of very severe economic uncertainty. And so the same factors that were in play back then are in play right now that drove people towards college. And there's a point I'm going to make here in a second. I'm going to show you some screenshots I pulled up first. But People during times of uncertainty flee towards what is safe. They do not jump into risky endeavors. People do not start businesses either in recessions or in the wake of recessions. What they do is they freak out. They run towards what is certain. In college, if you could say anything about college, it does give you a reasonable level of certainty that your income is not going to ever fall below a certain level, or that you're not going to be unemployed. Depends on what degree you get. If you get a humanities degree, okay, maybe a different story, right? But here's some things I pulled up. I literally just Googled. I think the term was, does college enrollment go up during a recession? And these are all from the first page of Google results. So the recession, this is a statistic I pulled up from the U.S. Census, 33% increase in enrollment in two-year colleges. Why student enrollment rises as the economy falls. This is the trend that's been repeated over and over throughout history. High unemployment, high college enrollment. The Great Recession spurred student interest in higher education, Stanford expert says. Most students enrolled in college when the recession began. How the Great Recession fueled for-profit colleges. For-profit colleges saw their enrollments more than triple during what they call the Great Recession in 2008. This is huge, you guys. What happens during periods of uncertainty is people move away from pain, not towards pleasure. I don't think we're going to see a rebound towards, oh, everyone's going to like run off on vacation when all this is over, right? And that's not what's going to happen. They're going to actively go try to build some insurance into their life to prevent that pain from ever happening again, the pain that we're feeling all right now. Institutions or businesses that will thrive, that will do well, are going to be those who sell safety. So listen, no one likes a recession, and we don't even know if that's where all this is headed right now. However, what we're experiencing right now is paving the way for an increase in book sales over the next several years. This climate right now is building stability into our business over the next many years to come. Good thing number 6, and I think this is the last one. I got a few takeaways for you. The world is not going back to normal. It is shifting online. So there's a couple sides to this, right? One is that everyone is trapped inside. We know this, right? I already covered this. 2, classes have moved online entirely, and people who go to school online buy online. Remember, it's easy to forget that college bookstores are a thing. That's where most students buy their books. And if we can accept that a huge percentage, if not the majority of our customers are actually in academia to one degree or another, them not having access to a college bookstore is huge. But the big point of all this is, and this is the one I really want you to take in, is that now that classes have moved online, as of now, literally 100% of schools have moved online, right? Many people are never going to return to a real classroom. That spell of, school is a place where I need to physically get up and go to, that spell of the classroom, that spell has been broken. And I think a lot of people are realizing they get the same level of education. I personally think I would benefit more from being in a classroom, but a lot of people are feeling right now like the level of education they're getting sitting in their pajamas at home is equal to that of a classroom, where they've never had to question that before. I mean, yeah, online classes obviously existed before the last month, but the point is that most people, who are in, quote, institutions of higher learning are getting up and going to a classroom. And now that spell has been broken, and people are kind of snapping out of it, and they're like, wait a minute, I can get the same level of education, and I don't need to go through the production of like getting dressed or whatever, right? And I think a lot of people are never going to return to a real classroom. In fact, there's tons of articles about this. And higher education is really concerned right now because I think they're going to see in the fall, assuming all this is behind us by then, people aren't going to be returned to classroom. It's not going to be 100% of people are going to return. It's going to be a huge percentage of people that never go back, which means all of those people are shifting their buying habits online. Not to mention the fact that, people that have never been comfortable buying online before, which is a small percentage to be fair, but it still is a significant percentage, they have to buy online. And now they're acquainted with it. It's like, oh, cool. I can just click something on Amazon and get it, something in my house in a few days. Cool, I'm into it. And so buying habits are never going to return to the way they were. And it is tragic for brick and mortar, but it is good for us. So you guys, to recap a few things here, the State of the Union address is coming to its close. I hope you got lots of value out of this. Here's some takeaways here. If there's a recession after this, you are positioned perfectly as an Amazon bookseller. You're in an online business. That is amazing. You're in a nearly timeless business. That is amazing. You're in a rare business that is actually poised to be stable or even grow during a recession. You guys have no idea how perfectly positioned you are amongst all the possible businesses that you could be in, How many of them can say that all the three of these things apply, right? This is awesome. So hats off to you guys. Even if this wasn't strategic on your part and it was accidental that you happen to be in one of the best businesses, still congratulations. Some more takeaways. People who plant seeds now in a time of turmoil, plant the seeds for a post-virus world, are the ones who are going to reap the harvest when all this is over. Viruses come and go. It's already peaked in the hardest hit countries. Feeble sellers are self-purging en masse right now. All sales have moved online. Many customers will never return to offline purchasing again. College enrollment is about to explode. And as Amazon FBA booksellers, we are positioned perfectly for the future. So now you guys have a 3-part mission. Are you ready? Number 1, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the link below this video, next to this video, wherever it is, hit the link. Head over to FBAmastery.com if you're not on FBAmastery.com right now. I got free books, tons and tons of free stuff. Literally, there's guides and tutorials and all kinds of random stuff totally for free. Mission number 3, take what you've learned in this video and go make money with it. You guys have a bright future ahead of you. This is Commander Bookseller in Chief Peter Valley signing off. Onward.